reports and discuss if necessary. Well, we've received them. Would anybody wish to discuss them? If not, I will move on. No, in which case then we can note that we have, oh, sorry.
It's a question rather than anything else.
No, no problem.
I noticed on all the way through it talks about the budget, what we've spent so far. Presumably those are up to the end of last financial year rather than what we've spent at the moment. Are we in the new financial year?
Paul gives me the up-to-date figures each
Yeah.
month, 3
That's
days
it, that's-
before.
so that's
So
it.
it's, yeah, the rolling up-to-date.
Yeah,
Just checking, we haven't spent lots of money in the last.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So the figures in red here are relating to the current financial year in the open spaces report and in here. Yeah.
Have we just moved, we're in new year, aren't we? Well, have I got my years wrong?
Sorry.
Are we
Yeah.
in new
We're in the
financial
new
year?
financial year.
Yeah, so these relate to last financial year.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, are we happy with that? In which case then we can move on, I believe, to Fletton House, which is 227, where there are two things. The contractor costs and necessary works, this is to do with the emergency lighting testing, and then also changing contractor. So again, you've got documents on these in your pack. I'm just pulling them up now. I was a bit confused when I looked at the documents. He's got here, engineer classified these works as compliance failure. It wasn't entirely clear to me what the failure was.
The emergency lighting doesn't hold charge for 3 hours. It has to stay alight for 3 hours, and there was
Right.
14, I think it was, wasn't it, failures where they were under the 3 hours. Not that much under the 3 hours apparently, but still under the 3 hours.
So then the quote that we then have, well, we've got the bill for that work, because that wasn't clear from that document. Sorry, I'm talking about document, whatever it is. It's called 4.3823841, etc. So despite all the ticks there, what they're concerned about is this 3-hour discharge thing.
Yeah. And just to give you a bit of background, we've been with Marlowe for quite some time.
Yeah.
We've had lots of things fail, and considering it's not a very old system and we're in quite a sterile environment, it's not a dirty environment, we did look some time ago to getting another contractor in to see how much they would be. So this time, because of these failures, the chap who came and told me about them, he did say to me, you know, you're not obliged to have us fix it. So
Yeah.
I said, well, actually, in this instance, we are going to get somebody else to quote as well. So that's why I've got Sadler's, because obviously they do our fire alarm at the courthouse.
Sure.
And with them being local. So anyway, his fees to actually install and put the problems right is cheaper than Marlowe. And then the actual looking after it, the preventative maintenance, which is the thing that highlighted these problems.
Sure.
Sadler's are just a slightly bit more expensive. I think they're 658 Marlowe. But the reason that I did it this time as well is Marlowe's being taken over, or it's changing its name. So, and I've asked them to tell me what the proposed figures for the maintenance fees will be.
Yeah.
Moving forward, and they've not come back to me yet.
So we've got this Sadler quote, which I think we actually had twice in our packs, which
well, there's two different quotes. One to put the work that needs doing, the failures, right, and then the one that's the preventative maintenance moving forward.
Yeah. And so Sadler's obviously done lots of work for us previously. Do we feel the need to get any additional quotes? You're basically saying, Lisa, that Sadler's is an approved whatever, supplier, yeah. So that's the background. Let's take them one at a time. We've got to approve contractor costs. And so are we happy to approve those costs? James?
The financial figures that we've got obviously are for the financial year just finishing.
Yeah,
And off the top of my head, I don't quite remember our budget numbers for this financial year.
yeah.
But can you confirm that this would be coming from line 7246 Blackman House R&M? That's the line that we'd be charging this to?
Yeah, it would be unless there is another specific one, because some of the, I can't remember which one it is, where it has hand dryers, it has actual separate budget lines entirely for
So
like a
there's
fire alarm.
Blackman House lift alarm, hand dryer, CCTV, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would cover some of this, because they also look after the CCTV. I'd have to ask Emma and Paul how they allocate it. I've always thought it comes under repairs and maintenance, because that's what it is.
But in proposing this, you are confirming that the budgets are sufficient,
Well, these,
because we only obviously have the authority to approve and spend
It's in the budget.
within the budget.
No, you're absolutely right to
well,
answer the
these
question, James.
costs here, this invoice is for this year just gone, so that will have been budgeted for, because they're ongoing costs. They're costs that we have to pay every year anyway, because it's the preventative maintenance that we have to have done. But these are the,
Correct me if I'm wrong, we're not proposing to spend money today from last year's budget.
Well, this is where we do.
what I'm saying is, these are ongoing costs that are always, or should
Yeah.
always be written into the budget
Yeah.
every year.
Fine.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they have been. I've not looked this evening just to double check.
I can go back and check if you really want me to, but they would have been carried forward.
It's these sort of things, I think, that we don't know are going to happen necessarily until the preventative
Yeah.
maintenance checks are done. And that, I suppose,
Yeah,
would be,
and that's-
would be come out of repairs and maintenance. That's how I do it anyway.
Yeah.
Or I understand it, I should say.
So when I put the budget together with, what's his name? Paul. John. Thank you, John. Paul. So we took what you might call running costs, of which what Lisa was showing you is part of that. So that's definitely in there, because it's something that is year after year after year. So essentially we just carry those forward in a budget. But then it's a question of what are additional costs on top of that. And my understanding is that what we're being asked to do is that the running costs have been allocated for, but the necessary works to correct the compliance failures is an additional cost. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't track up there.
But presumably as a compliance failure, we have to do it.
But we have to do it.
And if the building burnt down and someone died, we'd be.
Oh yeah, I absolutely am not in any way advocating that we don't do it, but my question is, do we have the authority to actually make a decision, or does it have to be taken by the clerk under the emergency?
Yeah.
Because if this were outside our budget,
Yeah.
the fact that it needs to happen doesn't mean that we have the authority to make the decision.
No, that's the key issue. And you're right to say that, because technically I don't think we do have the authority.
Let's continue on the assumption that we do, and I will see if I can find the budget to prove that we do.
I can try and do the same thing, don't worry. Let me just go and open.
Just on a simple level, there's a choice between two quotes, aren't there?
Yeah.
And Marlow are offering to replace the ones that are broken. And Sadler say they can't be replaced or fixed, so they're offering fix, replace all of them. Or 21 of them, I think, for a bit less money, which, particularly given Marlowe put in their quote, we can't guarantee we can do it because we're really busy. And in their email, they say, yeah, and it's really tough being us, so just,
And they come, they come from all over the country. I think they're based up north, and we've had engineers turn up, and obviously their call-out charges, if it's an emergency, are quite hefty. And he's been called off a job in goodness knows where to come and sort us out, and then he's got to go back there again. Whereas, if we have any kind of issue, I can phone them, and within half a day, they'll come and sort it out because they're local.
well, and supporting local businesses
Yeah.
is good.
And my fear as well is they're quite expensive anyway, and if they're being taken over or changed to a bigger outfit, then chances are they're going to go. And I've sent them 4 emails so far, and they've been reluctant to tell me what their costs are going to be moving forward.
But their dockets are staying the same, aren't they? They did cover that in the email. Docket and uniform stay the same. They get the important stuff.
Sadly, the budget line for Fletton House R&M, which is what we're saying, this unforeseen breakdown would come from, was set at £1,000 this year.
So
that's out with our budget.
in terms of what I can see, so which number are you talking about?
7246, if that's what Lisa is saying it would come out of.
So
I
I've got,
understand why Fletton House repairs and maintenance will be set that low. It's never been that low.
No.
Fletton House fire extinguisher lift, maintenance costs. So I thought you were putting your hand up. It would be under, is it not under 7244?
Fletton House electricity.
Which has a budget of £12,000.
But that's for electricity
That's
supply.
like the electric bill, isn't it?
In the current year, has a budget of £12,000. Sorry, you look suspicious.
Well, both Ian and I think that's for paying the electric bill, not for paying.
Oh,
the
yes, sorry,
That's
yeah, that's electricity, that's, in which case I don't see it anywhere.
So have we still got 7234, the lift alarm, hand drive, CCTV, £5,000
Up from 1600 last year.
potable,
Oh, sorry, that's the profit and loss.
from 6,000.
Down from £6,000 last year.
And R&M got dropped from 16 to 1.
Yeah. So I'll have to have a word with Emma about that, then it'll have to go to full council.
Is there an argument that as we need to be compliant?
I would absolutely agree that it falls within the clerk's
And the full council,
emergency.
the full council can agree which budget it should have come out of
Yes.
once it's done. Because Lisa would saying go ahead with it.
Yeah.
So we just need to decide which contractor is our recommendation.
Yeah,
Well, given there's no money, cheaper is good. But local
Well,
is good.
and better is good.
Yes. And having someone on our doorstep that sounds good. Do we have to make the decision about the preventative one now, since it's just been done?
No, because this covers us till, for the period of 1st of September 25 to the 31st of August 26. So this covers us with them until,
So at least by the time we come to consider that,
yeah.
Given that we've got an August holiday and stuff, and May is going to be taken up with election type stuff, why would we not make the decision now, especially if,
it might be the same money. Double settlement.
well, but, so it's not that we will definitely pay them a cheque for that amount, but it's when we go back to Sanders, we say we'd like to come and do the work that gets this thing, and we would like you to, because again, without in any way casting aspersions on any contractor, I always do believe in getting a higher standard of work if they know that they're going to be the ones that are called back to look after it. So, yeah, if we make both of those decisions today, then we can give them the good news, can't we?
Yeah. So what's the agenda? So the first one is contractor costs for the work. So that's the 2,000 or 2,000 for the lights. So do we want a proposal?
Sorry, just going back, so would it not come out of 7246?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's.
Which has a budget of 16,000.
That's this last
That
year
was
just
25,
gone.
26. The 26, 27, the proposed budget was 1,000.
That's what I mean, I don't understand normally that we set a healthy budget for Fletton House, but for some reason.
There's lots of bits to go wrong. Everyone's doing it.
Right, so, sorry, so where are we with this?
So the question from the table is, would you like a proposer for the committee's preferred contractor to conduct the work?
Yes.
I'm happy to propose that we go with Sadler.
I think it's a second that we go with Sadler.
Are we happy to agree that, first of all? Yes. So we have agreed the contractor. In which case then, does that cover everything? No, we still,
No, it does. I'll just have to put it to full council and say to Emma that that's your recommendation. And they've then just got to decide what budget pot they're going to.
Well, aren't we saying that we go ahead with it?
yeah.
Yeah, I can tell them to go ahead with the work, yeah.
And then that tells us the bit for the side budget pot. And then the next item is the preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
Do we want a proposal for that?
So, but that, does that need a separate proposal again?
It's a separate agenda item.
It's
Yes,
yeah,
separate agenda.
I know,
Yeah,
So can I propose that we engage with Sadler as our ongoing maintenance?
indeed.
Is that in general on Fletton House, or is that just for this one?
For this particular piece of work.
And emergency
Yeah.
lighting maintenance.
Yeah.
Then that's my proposal.
I'll second.
And we have a seconder, all those in favour. So hopefully we've now undone that Gordian knot. Right, sorry that took quite so long, but I think it's important that we realise what we're doing. Now then, on 228, you'll see that there's nothing to report on either the workshop, the vehicles, equipment, or the grass cutting. So we're happy then to move on to the hub, where there's also nothing to report, 229. The courthouse we are going to discuss later. So that moves us on to 231 car parks and 232 toilets, both of which are nothing to report. Which then takes us on to 233. We're going to take 23301 later on, which then moves us on to 23302. 01, which is the costs for the polydeck and various necessary repairs to the play equipment. And again, there is a quote in our packs, which if I can find it, polydeck quote. As you can see, comes out right at the bottom of £1,050 and 66 pence. So we have the quote.
I was slightly confused, but I was reading this on the bus to try and explain it. The polydeck, it's bouncing everywhere. The polydeck is the plastic bid
It's
to replace.
softens it, doesn't it? It's the softening bit.
No,
No, this is the hard bit at the bottom on you. Oh,
Right.
She's going to go and show us, send us a video.
I'm glad you brought that, because I wasn't clear what the polydeck grey button is either.
My book's a single button, it's very expensive, but it's 2 meters, so it's less expensive. I just bigger than that. It's £198 delivery. So we're buying 3 sheets of this,
yeah,
and the maintenance guys are gonna
Yeah.
cut and build
Yeah.
and bolt, which saves us paying another
RPM,
contractor
that's why the RPM
thousands of
thing.
pounds worth, so.
So she's replaced, so far they have replaced just a couple of pieces and
Bigger than that.
that's, yeah.
No
yeah.
child.
And it came to more than that, so when I was talking to Nobby, he said if we can have the plastic stuff, because the other stuff is coated like MDF.
Yep.
And it wears, and it doesn't wear quite as well as that, so although that's more expensive, if we're doing it in-house, then,
Yeah, it'll last.
yeah, it'll last.
Have they cut this before?
No, but I showed him the sample and I said, do you think you'll have any issues with it? And he said not, so.
So, again,
Where are we putting it? Sorry.
It's, so you know some of the play frames at the Rec and at St Christopher's Close? It's the platforms, it's usually the platforms that go on the edges where people have been,
Oh,
yeah.
I was just thinking that that's going to be very hard to try and put my skateboard over.
You can have a go.
And we started moving towards this.
Can I have
Rather than the hexy deck.
Hexy deck,
Like MDF with.
oh, I know what it is
That
now.
isn't very good.
It's the bit that goes where they kind of jump off with it, yeah.
It's the platform.
So again, I'm still a bit confused. So if we look at the other quote, which is called RPM repair quote 9474, where it's got halfway down multi-unit option 1, replace rotten deck with new HDPE plastic deck. Option 2 with Mexi deck.
Yeah.
Are we talking about one and the same thing here? Is
So
that-
the Polydeck HDPE plastic deck that is £980 is that stuff.
That's what's,
Yeah. And that quote there though is to just replace one section
Yeah,
that
yeah,
needs
yeah.
doing. Whereas if we buy this in, that
that's
will
so,
cover
yeah,
all
that's
the
what I'm
bits that
saying.
need
So
replacing.
that's how the two interleave
Yeah.
is what we're saying. There's kind of some duplicate.
The Mexi deck is what we've been using,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
cheaper,
No,
but it's not as
I
durable.
appreciate that. So I'm basically saying that we've got to take these two things together, so to speak. So the RPM, which has got lots of kind of options in it, which we might need to wade through, part of their option for the multi-unit is to do with this anyway. So
Yeah, but
we-
we're not gonna go to RPM, this is the whole point.
No,
I've
no,
only
no.
put RPM in here to show you
Yeah, okay, that's why I'm getting confused.
how
Sorry.
expensive they
So
are
what
as a
we're-
specialist.
What we've been asked to approve is 3 sheets of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And then
the guys can
most
do it
of
themselves.
these can be done before our next inspection, yeah.
Excellent.
So in reality, it's the polydeck that's the key thing here. Which takes us back to what I was saying before, that was £1,050. And the next thing that we're going to ask is that in the budget?
95130, recreation ground R&M, is what I presume would be the thing.
Yeah.
500 quid.
Yeah,
Again. And that, yeah, and last year was five grand.
Do we get rid of the youth provision?
That still relates, well, I think we might
That's
zero.
wreckable, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
that's
it is. I think it relates only to the rec, because we tried to use it elsewhere before, haven't we? And then they said, no, you can't.
Well,
But has it gone down to
Recreation ground
zero?
youth activities, is that?
Yeah. Has that got anything?
no.
Didn't have anything last year.
No, I knew they took it off as last year.
Yeah,
What could it be?
What about maintenance? But there's not much in there, isn't it? What? Maintenance materials. It's 5, 6, 10. We put two of them together.
Yeah, so we're talking about the same thing, James. According to me, 5130 has got a budget of 5,000.
Is that 25, 26?
Yeah, that's the 25, 26 budget.
But we're now 26, 27.
What's in the St Christopher's Drive one? Because some of it relates to
It's
that.
500 last year.
What number is it?
5150.
5150.
Yeah,
I bet it'll be 500 again.
No, that's zero.
so again, the question is whether we've got the money.
We've got the money for that.
Yeah,
But it's not 3
yeah.
litres.
Precisely.
It's not small.
This bit, it's fine.
So I am convinced by the estates team's proposal that we should buy them the materials and pay them, have them do it as part of their job rather than engaging an external contractor. So I think we can make that our recommendation, we just can't authorise the expenditure.
I was just going to say, since the work has arisen from an inspection that says the existing play area is unsafe, and if a child were to fall off tomorrow, and we haven't put in train repairs because we're waiting for a budget line, is there an argument that we will be found liable for something? In other words, can we give the go-ahead to order it and then find a budget line at the next full council meeting? I know it's the wrong way of doing it, but given this isn't a nicety, it's that platform on the play area, which I went through there today and there were 30 kids playing, so it's
In the holidays? Yes, well, I absolutely support being far more proactive, responsive, quicker than getting things fixed more quickly than having them hang around for months and months and months.
Particularly when there's a public liability issue. So, in which case then let's go back to what we're being asked to do, which is to, under 2330-301, approve costs to purchase the poly deck. That's the key thing, first of all. So we're happy to approve those costs. I'm happy to propose it. Pardon, you're
happy to propose
you're proposing that. Do we have a seconder?
Me.
Val's seconding it. All those in favour? So we've agreed that. And then the other bits of the necessary repairs, that's where we have this rather complicated document.
I think the estates officer is trying to point out that we don't need to do any of that.
No.
If they're
At the minute, I just want to get the decks done, because they're the more
So
urgent bits.
we receive that, we note it, but we don't need to take any action on it at this stage. Okay, good. In which case, let's shut that down, and we might want to give that. We might need.
We might need to. Let's not throw it away. At some point.
That's worth about 10. That's worth about 10 quid. Okay, right. Thank you. So we then move on to 2330202, which is the Vintage Festival have requested car parking on their day. We don't actually have this in writing as such, or is it a verbal
It was an
request?
email.
It's
I
an
put it in the
email.
pack. It was an email from Emma, asking staff various things about their health, and then on the end of it, she said they would also like to set up a recreation ground the day before for parking on the 16th.
So
And you check with the state, so.
again, we obviously had similar requests to this, what would have been 2 years ago when we had the last Vintage Festival, and we approved it then. Clearly, OTC, I think, are incredibly supportive of the Vintage Festival. It's very good for the town. It's not one of our events per se, it's a Handle Business Association effectively event. The only concerns we've had before is wet weather and whether or not wet weather would, having vehicles on the wreck, with wet weather would actually do untold damage. So maybe we approve it subject to weather being appropriate to take the vehicles.
That's what we normally say.
Which is the
Yeah,
standard,
if the weather's
yeah,
not good,
yeah.
then.
And in terms of setting up the day before, does that mean they want it closed off on the day before as well, or?
I think it's the same as what we do on the Friday afternoon, we set it up for.
So it's not all day, it's just part
And
of
the obviously the recreation ground bit.
Sure.
And the basketball course.
Yeah, so it's principally out of action on the 16th, not
Yeah.
for the 15th as well.
No,
So with that understanding, again, do you need us to propose that or? Sorry, James.
yes, if you wouldn't mind.
Do we actually create a formal agreement, or do we just give them a nod on the link?
We get them to fill in,
Booking form.
booking form, sorry, booking form rental agreement type thing, but I don't think these things, we charge them the deposit and things like that, which I sometimes wonder whether we should, just in case there is damage.
Sorry, if I may, two follow-up questions. One was, do we actually charge? And does the rental agreement include a statement to the effect of they are responsible for making good if they destroy the place?
Yeah, I'm
The
just,
application form gives that information,
It's the
right,
same as the service one, I
Yeah.
think. isn't it?
yeah.
I kind of, So Creative Handle, I'm not sure I declare an interest here, have applied to use the wreck for the last 3 years for Park at the Wharf, and we have never signed an agreement. It's been done on
No. But now we've standardised everything and like with
Okay.
Fletton Field and we've
Okay, so
had
this
the
is a
recreation
new
ground for quite
thing.
some time.
so
Well,
this
we've
is
had
a
the
new,
recreation ground for quite some time, but
yeah, no, so,
maybe because it was you, we just.
so this is essentially a new procedure that will now follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no,
But
that's
I'll
fine.
have to check, I don't know whether Emma would like, maybe take it to full council, but we've never charged people that are putting events on, especially because obviously
No.
half the time we're involved in them as well in some way. So we never charge
No.
for the party at the wharf or anything like that.
No, but there will, to answer James's question, this time around, there will be essentially a
That says
form
you're responsible.
which particularly also includes basically making good any, damage or whatever. So as long as that form's in place, so we're happy to approve that.
Yeah, I'm going to put a caveat in as well about just making it public, that we're going to use it. I was doing car parking a few years ago and someone came across and gave me some tip on the pretty fair basis that he was going to go and play with his son or whatever and couldn't because there were cars all over it. And it just seems if we're going to shut it down for a day and a half, at least just putting out something.
I think again, that's standard, that we signs up saying it will be closed on this day.
Event parking, yeah.
Yeah. As long as it is.
It's always worked before, I mean, we're inventing the wheel.
I think the thing is, you always have somebody, and it doesn't matter how much signage you put up around the town, like with the one-way system and everything we have for
Yeah.
Christmas. Doesn't matter how far in advance you put it up and how much you put up, you will always still get somebody that says, oh, I didn't know you were doing this. It's one of
I
those
just know
tricky
that
situations.
when I was in the
But I
car
can
park,
put it, I can ask Beck to put it on Facebook as well.
there were no signs in the park at particular time. So
Right.
I'm always just thinking
Yeah,
we could.
So we're approving it in the knowledge that there will be a standard form that is used for this and that prior notice will be given to the public. Okay? Thank you. The next thing, 2330203, consider recent requests regarding improvements to the skate park. I'm not sure what that,
So
request is.
obviously, we had the failed attempt to totally revamp the skate park before.
Yeah,
We're starting to get young people again saying, any news, is there anything going to happen, you know, further to what happened previously? So obviously Emma's gone out with a standard response about why it didn't happen last
so
time.
this is people that have contacted OTC
Yeah,
saying what's
To
happening.
say what's happening, is there anything going to
I
happen?
think the simple answer is nothing at the
We haven't
moment.
got the money.
There's no money to do it.
There's
It's,
a £250,000 reline room.
yeah.
Just one question, is this particular request from skaters or other users?
This one, the most recent one, is a skateboarder.
Because one thing I've noticed in the last few weeks is there are more and more and more people with bikes there,
Okay.
and more people with scooters. And you now, because I come through them every day, you often see parents getting little BMXs out of the car, you should ride rather than drive, and then they cycle and they sit and watch, and there's like 15 of them. I mean, yesterday there were 15 or 20 on scooters, just little tots everywhere. So whether, and I actually thought to myself, oh, I'm not quite sure, I'm glad we didn't concrete it, but it looks like there's a shift in use at the moment. Maybe, I'm not saying that gets rid of the need, but it looks like we've hit a sweet spot at the moment with young people.
We designed it with skaters, cyclists on it as well as
Yeah,
other forms, and it's a bit, dare I use the word, cyclic. It depends what's currently favourite with the children at any one time. In
with
terms
the
of what it is.
skateboard users, they were a much broader age range, but like 14
Yeah.
over 14 when we had the last conversation.
That's a good comment there to remember.
And in terms of finance, when we were preparing the budget for what is now this year, it was noted that additional work can't be done apart from obvious maintenance, but essentially major work can't be done without an injection of external money. So where that money is going to come from, I have no idea. It's still an option, but until such funds open up for us to apply to, there's not much we can do. James?
It's a bit chicken and egg. I would feel uncomfortable saying we're not going to consider the needs of the town until we've got certainty of funding. I think it's more driven by what is the vision for the town, and we go and find the funding for it. So if we are convinced that a skate park is something that we want to provide and the existing provision is inadequate in some way, and the town, and we are confident that the town is behind us, then we go and find the money, and that ranges anything from putting the precept up to going and finding a grant from somewhere and building it. So I think, given that, especially this year, we have moved the town meeting so that we can hopefully engage more broadly and potentially with a different demographic and ask some questions, because we're going to ask about support for this would seem like a perfect year to actually ask the town, what do you think about our young people's services, both in terms of the skate park, the rec and the play areas? Should they be better or worse? Should they be?
I think that's a valid point. Together with the town clerk, I've discussed plans for the town meeting, and there will be an item on the next full council agenda which outlines those, puts those plans forward, and so we can include that as part of that plan.
And just showing new councillors that. That was the diagram from 2022 or whatever it was. We went out to consultation quite a lot. We thought it was a good idea, but the sort of general view was it's a good idea, it's set up. we were looking at grant funding for about 190,000, I think it was. Then Ukraine got invaded, price of concrete went. It went to about 240, and the grant funding didn't work. So there was quite a lot of work went into that, so we could certainly publicise that at the meeting and see what people thought.
But I think trying to get what you might call public appetite for it would be help us to see to the extent this is really part of our vision or not.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, and I don't think we need any more discussion on that point. So where are we now? We're down into Fletton Field territory, 223304. And there are two issues here. The first one is very simple, and that is to receive the minutes. The second one is the MOU. Again, just to give you some background to this, because it predates, I think, both of your involvement on council. So when we took possession of Fletton Field, we being OTC, we were very aware that a lot of time and effort had gone into lobbying for that, with Fletton Field Association, and we wanted to ensure that we carried on working in partnership with the Fletton Field Association, particularly since they had a body of volunteers where they were prepared to put efforts. They had their own ideas and a development plan. They also had some funds that they could put into it as well. So they were bringing quite a lot to the table once it had been transferred. And it was felt that the best way forward was to have an MOU between the town council and Fletton Field that made it very clear what our responsibilities were on each side and what Fletton Field could contribute. The MOU was actually signed by you, I believe, Ian, as mayor.
Could be.
And given that that's now been in operation for the best part of 18 months, going on for 2 years, we brought it here just to make sure that we still feel that it's appropriate or whether we need to make any changes to it. It's just giving you an opportunity to look at it. It's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. But it's really just giving you an opportunity, particularly since, James and I haven't really seen this before, whether you feel this is the right way to move forward. We do have regular meetings with Fletton Field. There is a kind of working party or group, which I'm a member of and Val's a member of, and that gives rise to the minutes bit. So the minutes are part of this group that meets every 2 months. How often do we meet with Fletton Field? Or is it every month? Because it just seems, okay.
No, it feels like every month.
I missed 2 or 3 meetings, which is why it seems to me like every 2 months.
For me,
Yeah.
it's every month.
Yeah. I don't want to speak for Val. From my point of view, I think it's still useful to have that working group. I think it's important that we have an MOU. But we said to the last group that we would just bring it here, if only to have that reassurance. I was a member of the working party. I mean, you were obviously part of the people that drew up the MOU anyway. Do you want to make any kind of comments about
I think it's the way, I think it's it makes the volunteers visible as well.
Yeah. And politically, it's the right thing to do. I mean, politically with a small p, in that it's acknowledging the work that the group has done. Very important work that allowed it to be transferred to us in the first place. But if anybody's got any comments or suggestions, then now is the time to air them.
Can I add a different comment?
You may, yes, of course.
I went and sat on the Fletton Field for 20 minutes today in the sun. It was very nice. Very nice indeed. Just like throw that in. but nearly all the trees, I think, are taken. And you can see where the benches are going to go, and it looks good.
Yes, it's an important public asset.
Are you referring to the benches that we have purchased? Or
Yeah, it's in the minutes saying that they've marked out the locations.
Yeah.
Why are they
I just sat in the grass. I think because the minutes said they're coming in, didn't they? They've got the locations now and they're. I presume, are we fitting?
These are additional ones, yeah. So,
I chose to sit in the grass as well. No, there were benches for me to sit on.
so I think it's working very well. I don't make any recommendations to change it. We're just looking for assurance that we're doing the right thing. And given the lack of comment, I think we probably are.
I was going to say, I'm ashamed to say that I've not accessed Fletton Field, so I don't really, but any open space for the public, I'm all in favour of anyway. So I need to go and have a look at Fletton Field.
I was going to say, wander over there.
I walked through there today, so.
Can I just say that I think it's useful to know that as a town council or as a town, we've got very little space that we own. Most of the open space, or much of it, is owned by adult sport. And so, you know, the only other space we've got is the rec, and the rec does actually get pretty wet at times, so it's not the best piece of
And the rec's there for a different purpose. You know.
absolutely. So it's very nice to have this piece of land.
It was originally part of the allotment for the workhouse. It was gifted to the Board of Guardians by John Smith, one of the brewers.
Also set up the QVH.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any signage directing you to Fletton Field? And I'm
Not really, no.
No, and I've looked on a map to see, but it's not on the map of that kind.
That's a very good point. I mean, we've been talking for a very long time to have this arch entrance thing, which the Fletton Field Association people have been working on. Yet they still haven't come back with a full plan. I think once we have a formal entrance arch, it will become clearer. Part of the problem is that there are information boards in Fletton Field. Well, there's an information board, but you've almost got to be there in order to see it. And it is a bit like a secret garden, because from Blackthorn Road, you have to go up this passageway, and we're not allowed to erect a sign at the end. So the sign is actually, once you enter the park, the other side. We have talked about putting a sign on Blackthorn Road itself, but we're not allowed to.
Well, it would have to be highways, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And
it's
it
the
took us,
highways
how long did
issue.
it take us to actually get the signage changed there?
Only 3 or 4.
That will happen eventually, you know.
I'm sure it's
Yeah,
It's
eventually.
just one of those
I
things.
think if we say to
Why
highways,
we
this is what we'd
just-
like,
Yeah.
it'll come eventually.
So we're aware of that, and we're trying to do everything we can to make it, well, to improve the signage, but at the moment, yeah, it's limited in what we can do. So if there aren't any other questions or observations, I'm going to move on. So we have received them, we have discussed the MOU, we're happy to recommend that the collaboration continues. It just says here to agree to change the review period to annually. That's the other thing that we should do. It does say in the MOU, I think it's hidden there somewhere, that we review it every 6 months.
It's
And
not
I think we want to move it to annually because
No registering and no.
It doesn't really make sense. to
Yeah,
do
because it
6 months.
says there's a review every 3 years in 4.3.
Yeah,
And
that's,
4.2, it says progress will be monitored by 6 monthly partnership.
yeah, I know.
Which was sort of having
I
around.
know.
We have monthly
I
ones
know.
anyway, yeah.
So we want to change the 6 months to 12 months. Just so that, again, we can review it, because we can, there's a 3-month breakout clause as well, I think, in the MOU, if I remember correctly. But otherwise, it's all fine. Okay.
Do we need to formalise the 12?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would like to propose that we change the 6-month to 12-month. Do I have a seconder for that? Thank you, Ian. All those in favour? Right, let's move on. You'll see that the next few agenda items are all NTR. Which means I'm now going to move to 25238 Marketplace Markets, and to see if there's any progress.
No, you're going to look at me. This morning I looked at the minutes and I thought, I'm going to recommend for the council that we recommend to do this, and I think we did. But I don't think I was then meant to do anything else. But I haven't seen the minutes from that meeting, so I can't remember. Or I couldn't get hold of them on the bus this morning. So I haven't done anything, but I'm not sure if I was meant to do anything.
Is that the one that you thought it was going to go on full council?
Yeah.
It never made it to full council.
Yeah,
So it will need to go
It's
to
not
the
my
next
fault.
full council.
yeah. Okay. So,
Are you going to put a tell him?
yeah, so we can move over that. Thank you, Ian. You'll see the next bunch of things are all NTR as well, which then takes us to 244. This is the public liability insurance, which Tony Hoyle has, and we've got to decide future steps. This is to do with all of the Blooming Arndell work. There is a quote here for £100, it seems incredibly precise sum, from NFU Mutual and Avon Group. And this is for, I'm not quite sure, this is insuring them to do the work?
No, these are just the documents. If you remember, we asked them to produce their documents that
Oh,
show that
that's
they're
what it is.
liable for
So
those
we're not being
matters.
asked to pay that
That's just
amount
the
of money.
information that was forwarded.
They're
So-
paying that, we're
Yeah.
just making sure that they're
Yeah.
adequately.
So my question to you is, they are the documents, are you happy with those?
Yeah. And this is an issue
Showing that
you
they take
raised
liability,
initially, James.
yeah.
So my question was, can the estates officer reassure this committee that all the publicly placed stuff, for which we asked NNCs or whoever's permission, so they think we're responsible, can you confirm that everything that we've told NNC we're responsible, Blooming Arundel have told us that they're responsible for? And if you can say, yes, you've gone through and can find where we've asked for a planter there, and that they're on their copy of the insurance schedule, they've said, we've got a planter in the same place and they are insured for it, I'm happy.
Okay, so you want them all itemising and then this?
Well,
So,
how else would you like to do it?
No, that's the only way I can see of doing it,
Yeah,
that they're itemised 1 to whatever, and locations of them are specified, and a brief description of what. So I don't know whether that will be Blooming Arundel that do that and do a schedule. I'll have to ask them. I must admit, I did ask for that in the email that I sent, and I said, could we have a letter confirming that OTC is not responsible and that you look after them, but all they did was send the documents through.
So I absolutely support you in, if at all possible, I would like you not to have to do the work.
Yeah.
how can we support you in that? Well, perhaps if you sent through the list of all the locations that we've got permission for from the agreement that Emma found, or did you find it?
I think that was Emma, yeah.
If you sent that to them
Yeah.
and said, can you confirm that you've only put them in these places and that they are all covered by your insurance?
Yeah.
Then that gets them to do the work, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all we need. We don't actually need to see these documents per se.
No, yeah, exactly. I just want somebody to put their hand up and say, yes.
Yeah.
You're all cool.
That's the point. We asked them a very direct question to which they give us an answer.
Okay.
So has that clarified that
Yeah.
issue? Because these documents, in a sense, don't really answer James's question.
Well, they just tell you that they've got public
Yeah.
liability, that's it really, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad we hopefully nailed that one down. But thank you for pursuing that anyway. I'm now going to actually move on to, no, I'll take any other, we'll come back and do any other business, I think, unless people feel that we want to do any other business now.
Do it now.
Yeah, because then you close the meeting and you just close the meeting, don't you?
The hour doesn't have to get re-stressed.
So, any
I
other
don't know, I don't think he's
business?
doing what he should be doing anyway.
Any other business?
No problem.
Any other business?
Only the report I sent around of the biodiversity thing, which is nice to see, and it references Flattenfield in the middle of it, so.
Any other
Something
business?
I was going to bring up, dash. Oh, the lavatories, the public lavatories.
The what,
Can
sorry?
I make a comment about the public lavatories?
Oh, of course you can. I used them actually last week.
Well, I'm so pleased with.
Here's
Well, I had difficulty getting to my car the other day because there was a gentleman being in the bush right next to the door of my car.
Shut.
Because it was shut.
What day was that?
Sunday.
Yeah, it was shut on Sunday because
Yeah.
of
This
the bank
Sunday just
holiday.
gone by?
Yeah. This
Yeah.
It was
is,
closed on Monday when I went
because the
back.
town was full of people as it
Yeah.
happened.
It's because of the bank holiday, it wasn't opened.
Yes, it ought to be, because that's the time people come.
You're right, it was shut because I was going to use it again when I went to the co-op.
You went in the book. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to see some-
I know they normally speak to Becca and say, when do you want them open for? And I don't, to be honest, I don't know
Well, it
if that was an
really,
unusual thing.
bank
for them to be
holiday.
closed
It
or
was
whether
definitely-
it's
definitely,
always
it was
closed on
definitely
the bank
shut
holiday.
either Easter Sunday or Monday, I can't remember which.
Maybe the fact that co-op was shut on Sunday made it.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, it was Good Friday it was shut.
well, it was also
So it
shut
must have been,
Sunday.
yeah, it must have been shut all the way through then because I went
Yeah,
past.
which is not on,
No,
in my view.
I think that's a very good point.
People were sort of stopping me saying, oh, you know,
Yeah,
here we are spending the day in England.
I went and
we
bought
can't go
coffee
to
in the
work."
coffee tavern
Well,
instead.
that's what I told people to do. But
But-
the annoying one was the
But
man,
if-
obviously.
I think the
being
point is a
next.
valid point, can we just make sure it is actually open on public holidays?
Thank you.
Thank you, no problem. And I don't have any other business either, in which case then I'm gonna close the meeting when we're switched off. And then move